Okay, so in this video we're going to look at relative hand auto selection. So it's similar to the absolute. It does basically two things differently, which we're going to cover here. Firstly is it's just a bit quicker to make selections. So if we put in a board like let's do a lower board, Queen 7-4 rainbow. Common selections here is you might want to put all top pair into group 1. So in absolute you can do this by doing pair of jacks and click go, so that's absolutely fine. Under relative it just makes it a little bit faster because it's just got the option top pair and it does the working. It works out for you what top pair is on this board. It's fairly refined. You can do things like over pair to third pair. That would be the 5s and 6s, the pocket pairs there. And it has the same thing for high card hands by describing it as how many overcards it has, which is a common thing you want to do. Here are 2 overcards, 1 overcard, and it's just got a few more refined ones down here: pocket pairs, sets, and trips. And it has an or better checkbox, and that will basically do everything or better under the category you're selecting. So it's a little bit different from the absolute. So for example, if we did over pair to third pair or better, it would select over pair to third pair and all the pairs above it. So there it is. It doesn't select things like sets, for example. Similarly with let's just do one overcard or better will include hands that have 2 overcards. So there we go. That's the first thing with relative. It just makes it a little bit faster and a bit more straightforward to do some common selections. With all selections, you also have the same flush draw and straight draw drop down that you can combine with the relative, just like under the absolute. Now the other thing that relative does differently to absolute is its understanding of pair and trip boards. So for example, let's put in a board under absolute like 10-10-4. Now under 10-10-4, absolute, as the name implies, just looks at the absolute value of any hand. So for example, if you did something like a high card hand or better, let's say high card king or better. Now when you click go, all hands are selected, and this might not be what you would expect, but the reason is every single hand, even jack 3 off suit here, it has a hand that's better than king high because it has a pair of 10s. So if you wanted to do a selection like this, you would actually have to do pair of 10s with a queen kicker or better, and then you get what you want. So this can be useful for doing very fine-grained selections, but under the relative, which is all about doing much faster selections, it understands that it's a paired board, so when you do things like one overcard, it selects kind of what you would expect. It takes into account that everyone has a pair of 10s, and then it just selects one overcard over that pair of 10s. Similarly, pair selections. For example, there's overpairs. It works as you kind of would expect, taking things into account. You can't have top pair here because the 10s are the top pair, but you could have second pair here. Is I think what you would expect. So this understands paired boards, double paired boards, trip boards. Relative might offer a faster way to select kind of what you would expect. So that's pretty much the relative hand selection. In the next video, we're just going to quickly look at the other 3 auto selection types we have available.